Welcome back to the Selling Point Podcast. My name is Anthony Nix, founder of Transformative Sales Systems and Chief Fractional Sales Manager. Now, today I want to talk about something that almost every CEO and business owner considers the moment revenue starts to get tight. You're behind on plan, you're looking at the numbers, you're feeling the pressure, and the thought pops into your head because it just feels logical. We need another salesperson, you think to yourself. And I'm going to hit you with the truth, and it's going to sting a little, but it will save you a lot of money and frustration. Hiring another salesperson won't fix your revenue gap if the sales systems underneath are already broken. I'm not anti-hiring. I'm not against building a sales team. I'm telling you that hiring is not a strategy, it's a multiplier. It can multiply a strong system and set you for growth, or it can multiply a weak system and create chaos and issues within your company. So in this episode, I want to walk you through why hiring often fails to fix missed revenue, what's really going on underneath the surface, and what to fix first so that when you do hire, it actually works. Now, when revenue is behind, hiring feels like action. It feels decisive. It feels like momentum. It also feels like relief because it gives you something tangible to do. You can post a job. You can interview. You can tell yourself, we're fixing it. But here's what I've learned after years of leading sales teams and stepping into small and medium-sized businesses as a fractional sales leader. Most companies don't have a capacity problem. They have a conversion problem. They don't need more at-bats. They need to get better per at-bat. And if you're thinking, Anthony, we really do need more at-bats, I'm going to challenge you on that because the phrase itself is one of the most expensive myths in sales leadership. You've heard this. You might even say it. We just need more at-bats. The logic sounds simple. More calls, more meetings, more proposals equal more deals. And on paper, sure, it looks good. But more at-bats only work when two conditions are already true. First, you're getting into conversations with the right buyers. Second, those conversations move through a repeatable sales process with standards and discipline. If you're not qualifying properly, most at-bats means just more wasted time. If your pipeline stages are vague, more at-bats means hopefully opportunities that will never close. If coaching is inconsistent, more at-bats means more reps making the same mistakes faster. So instead of increasing revenue, you've increased activity. And activity is the easiest thing in the world to confuse with progress. Now, here's how you can tell the difference. If you're doing your weekly sales team meetings and you hear language like, I followed up, I checked in, they're interested, they're waiting on timing, I sent the proposal, that's just activity. Progress sounds like we've confirmed the impact with the prospect. We've mapped the decision process. We met with the decision maker. We scheduled the decision meeting. We aligned on what the decision will be based on. Revenue comes from progress, not motion. Now I'm going to tell you a little story. Now, part of it's made up. Part of it's based on facts that I have seen in some of my engagements. But I promise you're going to get something out of this. A CEO is behind plan. They're watching deals slip. The pipeline looks okay in the CRM, but in their gut, they know it is soft. So they hire. They bring in a salesperson with experience. The interview goes well. Everyone feels a little relief, like finally, we've done something. First month, there's energy. Calls are being made, meetings are booked, proposals go out, the CRM fills with activity. Then month 2 happens. Deals start to stall. Prospects go quiet. Proposals don't turn into decisions. Follow-ups simply pile up. The new rep starts talking about lead quality. The CEO starts questioning whether they made the right hire. And eventually the company decides we hired the wrong person. Maybe, but here's the bigger issue. Most of the time, the hire didn't fail because they were bad. They failed because they were hired into a system that could not support predictability. The sales process was unclear or not enforced. There was no accountability. Qualification was subjective. Pipeline stages meant different things to different people. Coaching was inconsistent. And accountability was uncomfortable, so it didn't happen. The system didn't change, so the results didn't change. And the CEO didn't buy growth. They bought another variable. Now, here's something that surprises a lot of CEOs. Hiring doesn't just add capacity. It adds complexity. Now you've got more deals to look at, more behavior to coach, more pipeline noise, more urgent situations, more variability in outcomes. If you already don't have consistent sales leadership, hiring increases the load on the system. You don't get leverage, you end up getting stress. And this is where companies start living in a cycle of hire, hope, watch it not, fix the problem, blame the hire, try again. It's expensive, it's discouraging, and it wastes months you can't afford to waste when revenue matters. Now let's get a little bit serious here for a minute. In most small and medium-sized businesses, missed revenue comes from a few common places. Qualification is weak. A lot of opportunities are actually just nice conversations. Prospects are interested. They ask for info. They might even ask for a proposal. But there honestly is no urgency, no consequences for the prospect if they don't move, no decision process, no clear path to a yes or a no. So the pipeline fills with maybes, and checking in becomes the main activity. Next, process exists, but it isn't driving behavior. Many companies have what they call a sales process on paper. But in reality, deals move forward because a rep feels good, not because the buyer has made meaningful progress. That's how you end up with pipeline stages like proposal sent and waiting. Those aren't stages. Those are just opportunities in a holding pattern. Next, the leadership cadence isn't consistent. Now, this is really a big one. Sales leadership is not a quarterly review. It's not a dashboard. It's not a meeting where everyone gives updates and tells stories. Sales leadership is the weekly cadence of pipeline truth, coaching, accountability, and skill development. If that cadence isn't in place, performance becomes random. And when performance becomes random, hiring does not fix the problem. Hiring just gives randomness a place to hide. Now, here's some questions every CEO should ask before they start to think about hiring. Now, I want you to think about this. If I hired the perfect salesperson tomorrow, what system would they be stepping into? Would they step into clear stage definitions in the pipeline, clear qualification standards? Would they experience weekly pipeline reviews that force truth? Is there consistent coaching for that new salesperson? And is there professional accountability as a part of our daily and weekly cadence? Or are they going to step into just go figure it out? Go sell. We need you to hit the number in a pipeline full of hopeful deals. Great salespeople don't fix weak systems. They tolerate them until they just can't. Now, here's some warning signs you're about to make a bad sales hire. And I just want to go over these before I start to wrap up this episode. So here's the 3 warning signs that CEOs should be wary of. And if you hear yourself in any of these, slow down. It doesn't mean you shouldn't hire. It means something needs to be fixed first. So here's the first warning sign. You can't clearly explain why deals are being lost. If you ask yourself why deals aren't closing and the answers sound like the prospect went quiet, it just came down to price. They decided not to move forward. They went with the competitor. Those are just symptoms. They're not reasons. When they can't clearly articulate where deals are stalling or why buyers are saying no, hiring another salesperson won't help. You'll just get more of the same outcomes just faster. Before you hire, you should be able to say with confidence where deals break down. Is it qualification? Is it urgency? Is it access to the decision maker? Is it value clarity? Have you set yourself apart? If you don't know that, you're just guessing. And hiring based on guessing can become very expensive. Now, here's the second warning sign you should be paying attention to. Your pipeline sounds busy, but when you read the notes, it's vague. Pipeline conversations are full of phrases like they're interested, and they like us, they're reviewing it, we're waiting on timing. That's not pipeline clarity, that's just optimism. A healthy pipeline has specificity. You know who decides. You know what the decision is based on. You know when the decision is supposed to happen. And you know what could derail it. If your pipeline feels busy, but you can't clearly explain what happens next on most deals, adding another salesperson will only make the pipeline louder, but not clearer. Now, here finally, hiring feels urgent because the revenue pressure is so high. And this is really the most dangerous one. When hiring feels urgent because the number is already missed or close to being missed, you're at risk of hiring emotionally instead of strategically. You're not asking what systems are we scaling, you're asking how do we relieve pressure right now? And that's when companies hire quickly, onboard loosely, and hope things work out. Sometimes they do, but in my experience, most of the time, they do not. Urgent hiring usually is a signal that leadership systems need attention first. When those systems are in place, hiring just becomes calmer, clearer, and far more effective. Now, if any of those warning signs felt uncomfortably familiar, take that as a signal, not a failure. It doesn't mean your business is broken. It means your sales system needs leadership, before it needs more people. And that's exactly where I want to take this back to fractional sales management. If you're behind revenue and hiring is on the table, here's what I'd tighten first. You don't need to boil the ocean. You need to stabilize the fundamentals. Start with qualification. Define what qualified means in your business in practical terms, not vague ones. Then get your pipeline stages tied to buyer progress, not seller activity. If nothing meaningful has changed on the buyer's side, the deal doesn't move forward. Then install weekly sales leadership cadence, and not just motivation, not reactive, but discipline. And finally, know your math. If you can't tell me your conversion rates and your pipeline, pipeline coverage needs, you're guessing. And hiring based on guessing is really not much more than just gambling. A lot of CEOs I work with are in a real bind. They know they know they need sales leadership, but they also know they can't be that leader consistently. And they're not ready for a full-time VP of sales or director of sales. They also can't afford to hire another failed salesperson. And that's kind of where fractional sales management really fits. FSM gives experienced sales leadership without the full-time overhead. It installs the cadence, the standards, the coaching, the pipeline discipline that makes results possible. Now, here's the key. In many cases, you don't need more salespeople first. You need more leadership. When leadership is in place, your current team often produces more than hiring becomes a multiplier, not just a roll of the dice. So as I close out this episode and wonder if any of this landed, hiring another salesperson can be the right move. I'm not telling you not to hire. I'm telling you that hiring is not the fix for missed revenue when the system is weak. Because goal isn't more at-bats. The goal is more progress, more decisions, and a forecast that you can finally trust. If you want the full breakdown in writing, the article's live on Transformative Sales Systems blog. And in the next episode, we're going to talk about something that connects directly with why your pipeline can look fine and revenue can still be behind. Thanks for listening to the Selling Point Podcast. And if this episode spoke to you and hit home, share it with another CEO or business owner who's feeling the pressure right now. And until next time, onward.